All right, so we got these cabinets all done. Got the stove mounted in. It's actually being used. Somebody's baking a cake, using it. I still gotta sand it. I gotta stain it and everything else. But I tried making these cabinet doors and I just couldn't get it. So wanted to have this place to kind of put liquor bottles, but to kind of be hidden away so it's not liquor bottles sitting out. So I kind of put a door on there. And the plan was to leave that all open. I'm sorry. And I built this, and I had this cabinet door made two to match the other side. I tried to get router bits and everything else, tried to mimic this and all this. I just couldn't do it. So I went to a place here in Hancock called the World of Wood. Gave them the old doors, gave them the dimensions, and they made it up. And so this is the garbage can, and I got this in here. Lips closed, self-closing hinge. But we had decided that it would look nice to have another door. So I have another door that's going to be made here. It's going to go here to cover this up and everything else. We weren't going to do it, but now we did. So then I did this. This is where the oven used to be. And what I just did is this is an open shelves. And I think there's going to be some racks. I was looking at them online. There's some racks that will slide out. And you can put it like spices or flour or whatever, stuff, baking stuff, whatever, and stuff down at the bottom. And you'll just slide the racks out and it'll be all contained on there and everything. But that is all finished out and all trimmed. That looks pretty good. So then you got this island left. Because I lost a whole bunch of cabinets all over there where the oven went, there used to be a trash compactor here that was used as a trash can, but now I made one over there. So I took that out and I framed it and made a whole cabinet box here and everything else and put the finished wood on the face of it. And it's going to be two drawers. And one of the drawers is going to be for this right here. These are silver containers and they're a foot tall. And I like to sit them down in there for cereal and stuff. So right now I'm making the drawers and everything else. I got that all ready, and I just gotta make the box drawers, and I'm using my dovetail jig to do that. I'll show you. So here's the old cabinet where they used to keep the cereal containers in and stuff. Boxes of cereal all fit down in there, and all the different types and everything. So you can see it's quite big. It's actually 13 1/4 deep, and I'm gonna be making my own. I'm actually keeping the old cabinet. I'm looking at buying some other houses up here and fixing them up and stuff, maybe doing some Airbnbs and stuff, and never hurts. I mean, this is a really nice cabinet and everything else, so I'm keeping all that intact, and I'm rebuilding the new cabinets here. Here is the start of one. I have this box here all built up, and that's the size that I need and everything else, but I can't get pine boards that are big enough. They're 13 1/4. The biggest one is 12s, and those are actually 11 1/2. So I'm having to take two of them. I'm building two boxes, and then I'll cut it to the width I need to get the right height. Because right now it's 9 1/2. So we got 3 3/4 I'm gonna need. And so then I'll make another one of those, and then strap that on the top of it, and then I'll be moving on to gluing those together and everything. I'm using my dovetail jig. So now that I have this is that dovetail jig from Harbor Freight, and it's pretty cheap and everything else, but I don't do a lot of custom millwork and stuff like that. It's pretty rare that I do stuff like this with cabinets. A lot of times I just do a little bit of a piece or restore something or something. I don't really use it a lot, but so that I went out and just bought this one. Took a lot to get it set up correctly. I did a video on that and a video on this stuff. It was a lot of work to get it set up, and I actually did refer back to YouTube. The other guys who do those woodworking channels a lot, they did videos on how to set these things up. And I tell you, I watched about 4 different people, and I think there was 4 different ways. And I tried a couple of them, and it wouldn't work and stuff. But I found that one finally got it to work, and it fits together pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. It's fine. So I got it all set up. Now that I got the jig all set up, as long as I don't move anything, as long as I leave the router bit in here at the preset, depth and everything, and I got the jig all set up and everything, I can whip these things out pretty fast. I think it took me maybe half an hour to make that box. So it's pretty simple, and you just put the router on here and you just follow the pattern. And as you saw there, I do about 3 runs. I go over and just kind of take a little bit of the edge off so it doesn't blow anything out, doesn't blow the wood out, make big chips or anything. And then I come back and I start to go into it, and I just do it kind of a fast just to work it out. And then I come back in and I put a lot of pressure on it and make sure that this fence, this guide right here, it's aluminum and it kind of bows up. And so I have these clamps on here to keep it down. And also when I do the lattice final bit, I push pretty good force on it, pushing the router down to make sure that the depth goes right. I found that's where it fits together right. So now I pull this out. And you can see right there, there's a dovetail. And so this will just fit together just like that. And I just get a block of wood, put it on there, and just tap it down in there. Once I get the first tap, it's pretty tight, but once I get that first tap in there, then it'll come apart to go together real good. So I just got to do the other sides and everything and make another box just like I did over there. Just a bunch of router in, that's all I got to do. All right, guys, we got the other drawer all built. So I've test fitted it, and everything is working good. So now we can just glue everything together. Let's see here, we're gonna have, which side is this gonna be? Let's do A. Actually, B is right there. Okay. We got the drawer here. It's just a 3/8 AC plywood, so one side is sanded, so we put the good sides inside. That's what you're going to see. Slide that into our router groove. Like so. And then this has got 3 spots, so it's got the ends that goes in. Then you also got a fit bottom deck into it. Hammer. Good. Go. Now these slides, they're kind of special. They're actually from some of the drawers that I pulled out. And they have these cutouts in there. The rails actually sit up in here. There's a little hole where a tang kind of goes in there. And then these little deals right here go in. And the rails slide into there. And you can just unlock it and pull the drawer out. So it's done. And then all I gotta do is make the face plates that will bolt on here that screw on. And they are going to be out of the red oak that I did all the rest of the whole kitchen with. And there's no boards that are wide enough for that. So I've taken a couple pieces of red oak and I just use those special screws, those Craig screws or whatever. join two pieces of hardwood together. And that will be on the face of there, and then it's got to be a 45 chamfer all the way around. That's the way all the other cabinets are. And I got to sand this all down so you won't see the seam and everything. So I'm sitting here sand all this all up today. I'm just letting the glue dry and everything right now. And then they also got to be trimmed for right size. I got them a little oversized so I can square everything and then get it all straight. All right, guys. So I've looked around the different router bits I have and everything else, trying to match the doors up that are existing in the kitchen and everything, and they just have this little step on here and then a slight rounded part and everything. And I have gotten it set up. I got the same depth for the steps and everything. So now I'm just going to router all this stuff. These covers here. This is just a cheap Harbor Freight router table. I have handheld routers and everything else, but it's a little easier to one that's mounted up like this. And got her all set up. This thing doesn't work very. It works fine. It's this piece back here. When you try to make grooves and stuff, I found that this thing, the vibration from the motor, this is plastic and it just moves around. I think what I'm gonna do is when I get done here, if I have any little hardwood left, I'm gonna use hardwood and make myself a new piece that I can mount on there, and I think it'll secure it better. But we're just gonna router all these edges. Well, guys, the drawers are all in. Gotten everything all installed. Got the face on there real nice and everything. Very nice drawers. This one down here is a big drawer. What they plan on doing with this is they use these cereal containers with all different types of cereal stuff in there. And so they wanted them big enough to make sure that fit into it. And so those are 13.25-inch drawers. But I got all the finished wood all put on there, all the trim and everything. I have the World of Wood. They're making me another door that's going to be the same size as this top one here, and it's going to cover over this. The plan was not to put one of those in there, but we're just going to kind of leave it open shelf because that's open up on the top of there and everything. And the plan is that they're going to put like decoration type stuff up there and everything. Everything is all done, all this stuff. I have started to take the drawers off and started the sanding process and everything else. And I had you using a finish remover to get all the lacquer, not the lacquer, but the polyurethane, whatever is on there. Get that off, and then it takes most of the finish off, the stain and stuff, and then turn around and sanding it all down. And the flat spots doing it with an orbital sander, but then having to get it in by hand to do all this other stuff and all down the cracks. But this is all done, all backside and everything. I got one done. Just kind of went through the process to see what I could use to make that an easy situation, and I got that one all done, so now I know what I got to do. So now I got to do all of this wood throughout the whole kitchen. All this is going to be all sanded down and everything else, and then when I get all this done, I'm going to stain this all in one color, because it's actually multiple colors all over the place and everything. So I'm going to get this all stained the same color. So that'll be nice. Wasn't planning on doing this at the moment, but plan on only doing that over there. And then I did this over here. Well, that's going to really look weird with a different color right in the middle like that. So I was like, why don't we just do this right away? And then plus this side over here. So the only difference is this stuff and all that is red oak. And I didn't even know, and the person was asking for oak. That's what they wanted, and so I did everything in oak. And then World of Wood, when they wanted one of the drawers to bring to them to copy it and everything, and I brought them in a drawer. And when they called me up and they were like, "Hey, my guy's just ready to start building this door for you, but maybe you made a mistake," and I said, "What's that?" And I told them I wanted those doors in oak. And they said, you brought us a door that's made out of hickory. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know wood that well. And I said, no, it needs to be out of oak, because that's what all that's made out of. So hopefully the stain is going to match up pretty close. We'll see how that turns out and everything. What I'll do is I'll probably do one door, stain it, and do one of those doors and then hold them next to each other. It's pretty close. It's, if you hold it up there, it's a little bit, but it's not much. If anything, I might have to like double stain all this stuff to get it a little bit darker to match this stuff. That's all. So yeah, a lot of sanding going on. It's gonna be a lot of sand in a couple days. I'll probably just sanding and sanding and stripping all these doors. The biggest problem is, see, like all these doors and the faces and all that can just all be sanded. That's fine. But and this here, but you got these little cracks here, the little seams there. But the problem is the raised panels. This takes some time to get all that decent and everything. So it's a little bit of work. So I just got to get it going and get on it. 3, 2, and 1. Well, guys, all of this has been sanded. Everything in here has been sanded down. All the cabinets are all good to go. Everything's sanded. The bottom piece of trim has come off, and then stain everything. And just a lot of work. A lot of work. But on the side of these cabinets, when they were built, the light bulb needed to be changed out. They put like it was like a particle board with like a sticker of wood grain on there. And that was one of the different colors. They didn't match the color of the cabinets. So I've replaced those with oak plywood. Put that on there and everything. But this was a lot of sanding. Basically a whole day, and I had 2 people helping me. Well, 3 people actually. And we just worked on it all day long. But everything is all done. That hood was, wow, the whole thing had to be done by hand. Sandpaper, all of them, just the trim pieces and all that. But this is going to be the color of what it's going to be. It's actually a mixture of 2. It's a traditional cherry and a walnut. Because there's 2 different woods. Because this over here, all the cabinets were made out of hickory. And all this stuff over here is made out of oak. And it accepts stain differently. When I stained them just with the color which was going to be, I think, traditional cherry. Has just a little bit of a red tint in it. And that was chosen for the color, and I did both doors next to each other, and there was a difference in the color. And so then I ended up actually putting another coat of I can't remember what it was called, but I had a whole bunch of different samples, and I put another coat of that other stuff on there, and then they match out pretty good. So today I've taken gotten all this cleaned, all the dust and everything pulled up here. There's a couple little spots that need to be hit yet. I need to get a little better in here, right in here. Missed a couple little spots, and just walking around I can see a couple little things that just need to be touched up and hit. But yeah, it's really close. And then I'll wipe everything down and get all the dust again. It's been cleaned once, but do it again. But you can feel the dust on here, and all that has to be taken off. And then wipe everything down with some tack cloth, and do the same thing with all the doors out there and everything. Get all that ready, and then apply the stain to all the doors and everything. And then let it dry for a day, and then put a coating over top of that, probably urethane. I don't know what I'm gonna put on there. Haven't made up my mind yet. And get them all coated, and then I can put all this back together. I think it's gonna look really nice. Well, guys, all the stain has been put on. It's had 2 coats. It's traditional cherry and light walnut has actually been applied on to make this color come out. The reason why is because this over here is oak wood, and when you put the traditional cherry on it actually makes it a different color. It's a darker color. The trim up there I'm still doing. I got one more coat to put on. That's to match up the other trim on the doors. I decided to do that as a different color, match the rest of the place. But everything is all done, and we are ready to go here. The doors and everything have been done. I'll show you those outside. See the step over here and everything, or the bench area over here. That's all been done and ready to go. I'll show you what I got going on over there. So this has all been done and everything. And we have all this stuff stained. The backs and the fronts are all stained and everything else. And I got some polyurethane. We're sitting right down there waiting. And I'm going to be starting that today. All the different cabinets are all done. All the backs and everything are all done. All the pieces. This is all the trim right here. That's all been coated. And it's a little bit different of a color. Figure we have the trim all match the same trim as the rest of the house and everything. And then the cabinet work will be a different color. So now I'm going to be applying the polyurethane today. Going to be starting this. I just put a third coat on here and it comes out pretty close to what we had. And then from there we're going to be letting that dry, and I will be starting to apply polyurethane in probably in a few hours here. Well, I think that in my last videos I had this recorder, this camera set on wrong thing. I think it was like red. It was like Rocksteady underwater or something. So who knows how that came out, but it's been all stained. I need one more coat on the piece of trim that goes up around there. But everything else has been stained. The bench over here is all done. All the cabinets have been all the final staining and everything. This over here got a little darker. Actually up in that hole up there. I actually had to try to lighten it up a little bit. But then I had to go back and add another color onto the rest of it to kind of make it a little bit darker. It's a little bit darker color than what we were looking for here. But came out pretty good. Alright guys, there it is. It is all complete. Everything's got the 2 coats of polyurethane. Everything's mounted back in. Well, except for one part, but I'm waiting for the wood company to make the door. Also, I can't find hinges, but this looks pretty good. This came out pretty nice. It's a little bit darker than what we thought. And I was looking for a little bit lighter color, but it actually came out really nice. But that's gonna be like a storage up there for cans of like flour, like decorative things, flour, sugar, salt, stuff like that. And then probably some kind of decorative thing up there that's gonna end up happening. Was able to get the refrigerator moved back in as far as I possibly can. Would have loved to have made it flush, but this is as far as I could get it. It was sticking way out here. It was like, I think here. But, and it kind of cut into this a little bit. But I was not able to push that back any further in. Otherwise, I would have had to redo. There's a closet behind there and a bathroom that's behind this wall. And I had to move those walls, redo all that. So we decided this was enough. There's Michael. He's the guard dog here. But all the cabinets are in. Everything is mounted all in. And then I rebuilt all these over here and rebuilt all the cabinets for storage that we lost over there. So these are going to be the cabinets there. We got this real big deep one right here. Everything is still kind of venting a little bit. It's pretty cured. The stuff is real nice and hard, but it is still venting, and that's why I had the fan going over there. But then I got these storage units here, and there's these metal racks that are coming from Amazon that are going to be mounted in there, and they're going to be slide out, kind of like those drawers are. And now we could put spices and all kinds of things down there and everything, and you just slide them out. And so you got the cabinets everything's all done. Everything's all really nice in here now. This bench came out really nice. And they're supposed to have cushions on there. The homeowner does not have them. And that's saying just find some nice fabric or whatever, sew up some cushions, put them on there and stuff. This is all storage underneath here. And then these are drawers that slide out. And then there's storage underneath this one too. So there you go. One kitchen complete. Just gotta wait for that one door, and then it's 2 screws, put it on. And I'll find those hinges, put those on there too. But it's looking pretty nice. The owner was saying that eventually this here is probably gonna go. This was a match to the oven, and they would like to have 6 burners instead of just 4. And so, but it works for now. It's a little temperamental, but it works. But maybe in the future putting a 6 burner in here, and that'd be easy. This thing is just loose. The power is right back here. I ran new power up through here, and it just plugs in. The only reason why it plugs in is for the igniter. So you turn it on, it ignites it. Maybe get a 6 burner. You might have to cut a little bit with the countertop out to make it bigger, but it'll work.